is live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana Plus on the DSTV channel 279. Coming up this afternoon, more relief items required for victims of the Akosombo and the Kpong Dam spillage. Also in the bulletin, Accra High Court clears Minister for Trade and Industry Katie Hammond of contempt charge. In business news, high unemployment rate, low incomes and high inflation push more than 7.7 million Guineans to live on less than 25 cedis a day. We'll bring you some international news as well, as Gabon's military leader says he's giving up his salary as president and will only receive a wage as commander of the Republican Guard. Welcome to the program. Let's get into the details of the stories. And it's been a few days of struggling to find food and a place to lay their heads. That's the ordeal of thousands of people in the lower Volta Basin who have been displaced by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Media General Limited has been rallying support for relief items to support the flood victims. My colleague Roland Walker and the New Day team have been reporting from one of the areas worst affected by the disaster. He's joining us with some more updates on what the situation is this afternoon. Roland, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good afternoon, Crosby.
Tell us where you are and what the situation there is like.
I mean, one of the many areas in Mefe, and indeed we've moved from Mefe to Mafi, Devive, and many of the communities that are in the North Tongue area. And I have to say that just like being reported by many of our colleagues across the affected communities, we have devastating effects, being the trail of the effect of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. And for many of the experiences that I've seen today, normal tarred roads, asphalted tarred roads have just been cut off, swamped with water, and you have no option if you want to transport yourself from one section to the other of a road that normally would have been a normal stretch, just to use the canoes to go there. And it's one of those points that where we are, we have military men from the 48th Field Engineering Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces who have been stationed here. And as you know, the president has put together a composite interministerial committee, as well as the allied services being provided by the Ghana Armed Forces, the National Disaster Management Organization, the various district security councils in themselves, and then also various relief efforts by individuals and other agencies or corporate bodies to make sure it is possible for people to be able to move. Now, what you're seeing is just a normal road. If it was not because of this flooding or the inundated water from the spillage of the Akosombo Dam, was just a normal road where, let's say, you're coming from one section of the community on the main road, you want to join the other, and just for about 500 meters in a normal residential area, we have inundated water, and residents would have to use these boats provided by the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Navy, as part of this composite team to be able to transport people. In the absence of this, they tend to provide canoes as well to make it possible. But when these are available, these are the safest. Crosby.
Other very essential items, I'm talking about food and water as well as place for the affected residents to lay their heads. How is that going? How are the residents receiving these very important needs?
I have to say that it depends on which part of the affected communities are. And you know that relief items really are needed for the victims. The victims are scattered across many constituencies. And so we have, for example, North Tongue, Central Tongue, and South Tongue. There are areas in Anglo constituency, Keta constituency, and then others in Adanyis, etc., who have been affected. So the relief items seem to be coming in. Here at North Tongue, for the many people that we spoke to, they did say that while they do appreciate the relief items coming in from the individual corporate bodies, they also wanted it to be more centralized and coordinated. So if it is that the state effort through the National Disaster Management Organization is being undertaken, it has to be done in conjunction with maybe perhaps the Member of Parliament's own coordinating team. And mind you, the Member of Parliament has also launched a relief fund, just like Media General and 3 Foundation has, so that those coordinated efforts will enable the victims receive a certain amount of food, at which point in time they have to receive it, and when they have to receive it. Because we got complaints from some of the victims in many of the shelters that have been provided, that across the 21 shelters, it looks like some other shelters, which are made up of various victims, are getting more relief items, either because they could be reached better, or others also not getting it enough, or not at all, because they are just further off from the main relief transportation areas.
Roland, thank you so much. If there's anything else, we'll get back to you. Roland Walker is reporting to us from some of the affected areas, what the situation is like in some parts of the Volta region. Well, still on the flood disaster, the Ghana Bar Association has appealed to its members to donate cash to support the relief efforts to rescue persons affected by the floods that was caused by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Yawe Champon Boafo is president of the GBA.
The GBA urges all Ghanaians to support the efforts to rescue and resettle all affected persons. And accordingly, we're making a direct appeal to all our members to donate in cash and in kind to assist the relief efforts.
We're still bringing you some more happenings from the Volta region as well as other areas affected by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. We'll be speaking with the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization for some more updates on how far relief items are going and what areas they are targeting at the moment, what the concrete efforts to get to them will be. We'll be also speaking with some other correspondent of ours. We'll be speaking with Emmanuel Simani on the back of another angle of the situation there, particularly for kids. Well, still on the subject, a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, is strongly calling for stringent punishment to be meted out to all those responsible for the recent spillage of the Akosombo Dam that resulted in flooding and has left many counting their losses. According to him, someone at the Volta River Authority might have slept on the job, resulting in the current state of affairs in some parts of the Volta and Eastern regions.
Have been badly affected by the controlled spillage of the Akosombo Dam by the Volta River Authority. The spillage has disrupted economic activities, stripped communities of their livelihoods, and left many people needing urgent attention. Over the past few days, the situation has worsened, with the government and various stakeholders mobilizing relief items to ameliorate the plight of the displaced victims. Speaking in an interview with journalists on the sidelines of this year's Research and Development Conference in Wa, the president of the University of Ghana chapter of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, expressed concern about the impact of the spillage.
If somebody was scheduled to be there, then it means the person was also expected to be monitoring, so that if the water is coming at a certain rate, you may also be spilling bit by bit, so that we wouldn't get to a situation where it becomes so voluminous such that a spillage of the water will bring this kind of havoc. I think seriously that it is somebody who slept on the job, and we cannot discuss this without also making recommendations for some form of punishment to be meted out to those who slept on the job and allowed this havoc to happen. Elsewhere, the leadership of that organization that is in charge of the dam would have been made to resign.
He also stated that members of the University Teachers Association, particularly the University of Ghana branch, are contributing to support the affected victims.
We've not just issued statements, we have started contributing, and we are hoping as teachers to be able to make a cash donation to help alleviate the plight of those who have been affected.
Well, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, one of the legislators whose jurisdictions has been badly affected, is calling for the relocation of people devastated by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam in the Volta region. Speaking to TV3, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa also asked President Kufuor to declare a state of emergency to ensure that all the needed resources, both local and international, are marshaled to support the flood victims.
You recall that our chiefs were appealing to the president when the president came here that if he could open Saglemi for our people to be relocated, because they can't stay in classrooms, you know, for long. I mean, classrooms are not designed for residential accommodation. But in the meantime, seeing that it doesn't appear that the president is comfortable with offering Saglemi for our people, we are trying to mobilize on our own. So I want to announce that we have secured land, large tracts of land, so particularly construction firms who want to come in to help us, even if it's prefab will appreciate it. Compatriots elsewhere are learning. So our children are being left behind. They are losing precious academic time. And they are all going to write the same exams, the same BEC, the same WASI. How would they cope? So we need to relocate our people so that academic work can begin, the schools can be reopened. Then thirdly, the public health aspect of things. We really have to pay attention. I am glad that the Director General of the Ghana Health Service came here to see things for himself. He saw how precarious the situation is. I hope that he will quickly mobilize a public health emergency plan and support system so that already the typhoid cases we are seeing, the cases of cholera and all of that does not, you know, blow out of proportion. Then we will have to have that difficult discussion about full compensation. VRA must know that they won't be allowed to get away with this. It is not fair to make people lose their livelihoods, lose their properties, lose their farms, and then you think that they should just cope with it. And I mean, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
We will insist on full compensation. And if we don't hear them announcing a plan for full compensation, we will bring legal action.
Well, the flood-induced displacement at Mepe in the North Tongue district is causing a health crisis. District Health Director Michael Ziga says diarrhea, dysentery and high blood pressure are on the rise, compounding the ongoing challenges arising from the Akosombo and the Kpong Dam spillage. Emmanuel Samani joins us with some more update on what the health situation in these areas is like. Samani, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the program. You're paying much attention to what the implications on the health of the affected residents is like. But where are you and what is the situation with respect to the health of the displaced?
Currently at the Mepe RC Basic School, and Cosby, I can tell you that the devastation caused by the spillage of the Akosombo and Kpong dams transcends just beyond, you know, the physicality of it, the physical destruction, the stress. I mean, the health of the indigents of these individuals are also at it. I've been interacting with some of these individuals, particularly one family who tell me that all her kids have had diarrhea ever since they relocated to this safe haven. We're looking at dysentery, skin infections, hypertension as well, as reported by the medical personnel here taking care of some of these individuals. They tell me hypertension, skin infections, dysentery and diarrhea are on the rise in these localities. Fortunately, they haven't recorded any outbreak of cholera yet, which is also quite infectious if you ask me. But so far, the situation is looking really dire when it comes to the health of the indigents here, because their water supply and all that have been, affected by the spillage of the Kpong and Akosombo Dam. So that's the situation here at the
Samani, after days of uncertainty, unfortunately, we have lost Emmanuel Samani, who is bringing us updates on what the health conditions and the help the affected residents are getting in relation to the spillage of the Akosombo and the Kpong dams, the devastating impact it is having on these residents. There was also a lot of concern about the lifeline of water supply. I understand Samani is back on the line. Samani, thank you for joining us again. There was some concerns, a lot of concerns, I must say, about the quality of water available to these affected residents. What is the situation like?
Right. So due to the flooding, the water station at the Ayavime had been submerged. The water pumps had been submerged as a result of the flooding. Fortunately, we understand that there has been a new pump, and then they have relocated the pumping station to another facility. And so that has reconnected 3 districts back to the grid. And so I can tell you, as a matter of fact, that water supply in 3 districts here, North Zone, even has been restored. And so residents here can at least heave a sigh of relief as they have access to clean potable water. Crosby.
There's also the supply of a lot of sachet water, bottled water maybe, but how is it getting directly to the affected residents? Are they getting enough of that?
Right. So what happens is that here, so currently here at the North Zone District Assembly Office, all the supplies are coming here. So this is the logistics hub of the affected area. So you would see quite a number of pure water bags, what do we call it? Mobile portable or toilets and all that. So everything comes here, and then another more director here would disperse these items to the affected area. So there is a chain of supply in which the inventory of the stuff would be made here and then distributed to the affected communities.
All right, Samani, before you take leave of us, the situation is having adverse effects on everybody, but particularly for women and children. If we're paying attention to the children, the education has been paused at the moment because their classrooms are flooded, their homes are flooded as well. What efforts or what is being put in place for them so that at least it reduces the educational deficit of these kids?
Right, Crosby. So I can tell you for a fact that, for example, when you go to the RC Basic School inside Mepe, it has been converted into a safe haven. And so you have families, neighbors, and classrooms across the blocks. And so in terms of education, until they get a more, structured accommodation, it seems the education of these students are in limbo because they have no place to study. And so that is the situation here, at least for the RC Basic School, because they've converted the schools into accommodation facilities for some of these affected residents here.
Emmanuel Samani, thank you so much. Emmanuel Samani brought us update on some more situation, the impact of the devastating effect of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Well, thousands of fisherfolk, they've also been affected by the overflow of the Volta Lake at Akating and its environs in the eastern region. The township's main economy is currently experiencing a significant downturn. Yvonne Nikwe is in the area. She's joining us at the moment with some more updates on what the situation is there. Yvonne, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We know Akating is a fishing hub. What is the effect on business activities there? Yvonne, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. I can hear you, Crosby.
Great. Talk to us about the fishing situation there. We know that Akating is a fishing hub. What is the effect on the business activity as a result of the spillage?
Well, I can tell you that the situation here is not that good. Businesses is at a standstill. Now, the situation here is not a serious situation, but an overflow of the Volta River from communities across it. So not a serious because the community is an absence of the direction of the overflow of the dam. Now, people get together, continue to do business for the next few days because the water is coming closer to them. So this is the situation here at Akating and its environment close to the Volta Lake.
But what has been the response of authorities, DISEC maybe?
Well, DISEC held an emergency meeting today. What they have agreed on is that for people they feel that they would be impacted more, and they would have to evacuate them forcefully from the site because unfortunately they would be impacted. We're looking at women who are the managers of the local economy here, students who would have to cross the number of the islands. Those people would have to be taken care of in the interim to ensure that you're not losing any lives in this district. I can speak to you. People have confirmed that about 1,300 persons have been affected in households across this particular stretch of the Valley.
Yvonne, thank you so much. Yvonne Ukwe is Eastern Regional Correspondent, updating us on the overflow of the Volta Lake there. Away from that to some other subjects this afternoon, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, he has been found not guilty of contempt by an Accra High Court. The court explained that lawyers for James Gyakye Quayson had failed to produce evidence of what exactly the minister said that amounts to contempt. Mr. Quayson's lawyers had asked the High Court to punish Katie Hammond for saying James Gyakye Quayson may as well leave Parliament since he would end up in jail. The court had, however, dismissed the case as lacking merit. This is a subject that my colleague Joseph Akable is following, is joining us with some more update on the happenings in court today. Akable, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the program. Talk to us about, first, the background to this issue and what informed the court's view that the comment allegedly made by the minister does not amount to contempt. We'll be getting to Akable shortly, but let's take a listen to what Katie Hammond spoke after the court dismissed, ruled that he was not guilty of the contempt charge.
You don't take Katie Hammond to court as a victim, as stated by their lawyer, Mr. Agalga. Amalba. It's Amalba, not Agalga, Amalba. He stood here at the forecourt of this very court, exactly where we are standing, and told the whole world that they decided to exercise their option, their discretion, to institute this action against me, this application against me, as a victim. They chose me as a victim. Now, Katie Hammond is nobody's victim at all. Nobody's victim. I'm also telling them they must go back and read the rudiments of the law. They should understand. These guys there, these fellas out there should understand the principles of the law. They just simply cannot decide to expend the court's time and expend individuals' time for no good reason. You had it very clear, very articulate by the judge. Made a point, yes, the wheels of justice can't be clogged, but also the constitutional imperative of freedom of speech. But more importantly, you want somebody to be committed to prison, you come to court with competent, with credible evidence, not the hearsay of some other reporter, just because you want to make a victim of Katie Hammond. He's nobody's victim.
So that's the Trade Minister, Katie Hammond there. Akable, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What informed the court's view on the decision it has taken today?
And so in terms of the evidence that was put before the court, it was a news online report of what the minister had said in that particular interview with the radio station and the TV station. Now the court says that because the minister had said the story did not reflect exactly what he had been said, he had said it was important that the specific recording or at least a translated version be attached to it. The minister had explained that the interview was granted in P, and so the court said that the oral recording was supposed to be attached. And so in the absence of those attachments, it meant that the statements attributed to him in the news report were subject to dispute, and that meant that the court did not have any evidence to analyze to determine whether to conclude that those comments amount to a contempt of court or not. And so on that basis, the court came to the conclusion that a case of contempt has not been proved against Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond.
But for the lawyers of the various parties, how have they been reacting to this ruling by the court?
In terms of the lawyers for Mr. James Gyakye Quayson, they made a point in court that they filed this particular matter simply because they were unhappy about the national commentary on the subject. Various individuals were making suggestions that he was going to end up in jail, and they simply filed this case to put a stop to that. And so even though they did not get a decision in their favor, they believe initiation of the legal action alone has clamped down on such commentary. But for the side of Mr. Hammond, we are satisfied, and as we heard Mr. Hammond a short while ago make the point that he believes that next time they should bring a proper case to the court and not a matter that does not contain any proper evidence.
So for the parties, what support did they come with and how did they receive this news?
I mean, for now, what remains outstanding essentially is the criminal case against James Gyakye Quayson. And that particular matter has been adjourned to 27th of October. You recall is the case in which he has been charged with various offenses, including a forgery, among other things. And that is also still before the court. We know that the civil aspect that went to the Supreme Court is done and dusted. Mr. Quayson himself was not present in court today when this particular matter was dealt with.
Akabli, thank you so much for joining us with updates from the court. Joseph Frimpong Akabli, I beg your pardon, speaking with us on the situation as the Accra High Court has cleared KTB Hammond of any contempt charge. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby and we're back with more stories after the break. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Max Buy Half Price promo. Enjoy half price on all home appliances this week. Half price on fridges, TVs, ACs, washing machine. Hurry! Limited stock available. Visit any Max Buy shop across Ghana. What are you waiting for? Avoid the rush. Stock up now. Call 05969132298. It's Max Buy Half Price promo.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chese na me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chese na nya asam ketewa na me point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato.
Hello
hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie person na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Me kai emre bi etwemu na debia ye dabone ma me chinyi no nanso ene ye chua me Maxim regular hair relaxer and free olive hair moisturizer ka ho no ma bra bo asesa me the Maxim olive hair moisturizer no from Maxim regular hair relaxer no na me dia fa me chinyi na se Maxim regular hair relaxer ye chinyi ase adwuma ma ne ye mre motso na atnetene no so kama me sanso the Maxim's rich hair pomade ye me chinyi na se na amanansei amanembubu na amanantetenso afedia me chinyi na ashrin emu so ye dru Maxim super hair relaxer so ho homa wona wo chinyi na edin Maxim hair relaxer because you are the max.
FD adwedi enkra.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter and we don't back down.
Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations.
Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Mike Brown's Kitchen. Mike Brown's Kitchen.
I read the same in Mike Brown's Kitchen. Every new season, new stations. Hey, Mike Brown's Kitchen. Oh, na want TV so I check. I knew who ya check. But the Namia Yeni and Chakrano. But TV3. Mimi Devia. 5 to 6 p.m. Nana Yabasha Wati, Minimi Kunum, my Basho, Sasako, Ghana Fodo. That's it.
McBrown's Kitchen shows this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country.
The Key Points of the stories that matter with the people who matter.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program. Every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on TV3 and on Free FM 92.7. TV3, first in news.
Yeah, ding. You're welcome back to the broadcast. Let's bring you some more stories. Cabinet is currently meeting to be followed by a retreat at Pejasi in the Eastern region. Correspondent Ina Kwekwedia is monitoring the meeting. He's joining us with some update on what has necessitated this meeting and what do they look to talk about or discuss. And Adria, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Crosby. Crosby, quickly, let me say it's a retreat. Actually, it has started. Cabinet gathered yesterday, last night, and it's a 2-day retreat today and tomorrow. We are expecting that by Monday we should hear something, especially on the call for government to declare state of emergency on the flooding situation we are experiencing or the spillage situation we are experiencing currently. And it's a topical issue on the agenda across the call has come. Cabinet or government has set up a ministerial committee to deal with it. But we're also looking at beyond that, what else would government be doing? So it will be discussed as well, whether there should be a state of emergency or regional emergency, state of emergency or regional. It should be national or regional, I should put it that way. So this is what cabinet will be discussing, and it's a topical issue they are going to look at. Secondly, they will look at the economy, because recently, President has been speaking about the way the economy is shoring up. And he said just yesterday at a function that he's looking at the performance of the economy being like when he in his first term, I should put it that way, that was he said. In his first term, the economy was doing well. And he said before he leaves office, the economy should also do the same before he leaves office. So the economy is a key agenda for this afternoon and tomorrow as well as Crosby. What we are picking up is that it's likely there should be a reshuffle. Reshuffle is imminent. That's what we are picking up. So a discussion will center also on the reshuffle, but we don't know to which extent, whether it will be a larger scale or like we saw another one like we saw previously. So these are some of the key issues Cabinet will be deliberating on today and tomorrow as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for bringing us those updates. So we know that Cabinet is currently beginning a retreat, and on top of the agenda, 3 issues were that the declaration of a state of emergency has been suggested by some civil society organizations and other individuals to the president will happen in relation to the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Also on the table, we understand, will be conversations on rebuilding the nation's economy. Also, the last agenda we expect to be spoken about for the retreat the cabinet is having will be a possible ministerial reshuffle. These are issues we'll be paying attention to and bringing you details when they happen. But away from that, over 7.7 million Ghanaians live on less than $2.15, an equivalent to 25 cedis, 31 pesos. That's according to Country Director of the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, and has attributed it to high inflation and high unemployment rate. We'll bring you details of this report in Business News after this. Menuafo, for some business news. Menu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Cosby. Welcome to the business segment with me, Menuafo. Now, in our first story, over 7.7 million Ghanaians live on less than $2.15, an equivalent of 25 cedis, 31 pesos. That's according to Country Director of the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, and he's attributing it to high inflation and the high unemployment rate in the country. The 7.7 million is approximately a quarter of the country's population. There's more in the following report. World Bank Country Director noted high inflation experienced over the past couple of years has eroded the purchasing power of Ghanaian households as incomes have not kept pace. Pierre Laporte observed the country's current economic downturn is pushing many more Ghanaians into poverty. Nearly 850,000 Ghanaians had been pushed into poverty at the end of 2022, according to the World Bank. High unemployment rate, low incomes, news, low or no savings have led to low investments. Additionally, the country's high inflation significantly worsened food insecurity in the country, with a quarter of the population deemed to be food insecure at the end of last year. According to the World Bank Country Director, Pierre Laporte, jobs and employment are the surest ways to reduce poverty and inequality in Ghana. He encouraged policymakers to intensify efforts to grow the economy while protecting the most vulnerable and make well-targeted investments that create better jobs, lower income inequality, and boost productivity. Away from that, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Ochibefi, has hinted an automotive component manufacturing policy is in the offing for the country. Now, speaking in Accra, he noted this is to allow the country benefit from the entire value chain of the automobile industry and further ensure the availability of certified parts and assembling components.
We are on this path of becoming the vehicle manufacturing hub within the sub-region through the implementation of the Ghana Automotive Development Policy, with 6 of the top 10 brands leading the original equipment manufacturers' stake in this country, already investing in Ghana. To take the full advantage of the automotive industry, the government is in the process of developing an automotive component manufacturing policy, which will also be launched very soon. This is to attract investment from component manufacturers to feed into the local automotive industries while supplying aftermarket components across the sub-region. As we develop the automotive industry, there's also the urgent need for us to also think of developing the component manufacturing.
And to more stories, the State Interest and Governance Authority says it is working to improve the corporate governance structure of state-owned enterprises in the country as a means to reduce losses. A recent report has revealed that state-owned enterprises have recorded a 35% reduction in losses from 2020 to 2021. A feat SIGA has stated is committed to sustaining.
Yes, most state-owned enterprises have been underperforming and become loss-making entities. However, Ambassador Edward Boateng believes the narrative ought to change.
We went to China to understudy how their SOEs, and most of them were set up only in the 1990s. Some of them as recently as 2003, 2001. But today they are global brands. The True SIGA, some of our SOEs can also become African brands. They can become regional brands, and they can become global brands because we have the capacity and the capability and the capacity to do so. It was about focus, it was about discipline, it was about attention to detail, and it was about the will and passion to achieve. And I believe that we can also do so.
He urged on SOEs that are currently doing well, whilst admonishing those struggling to work hard to play more strategic roles in the country's development.
We've been able to improve the contribution of SOEs from 3% to 10%. Our target is 30%, and we still have a lot of work to do. We also talked about the role of the boards and what we are doing at SIGA to ensure that there's enhanced corporate governance. There's still a lot of work to do, but we believe that through this collaboration, we'll be able to move the pendulum a bit faster than it has always been.
Also, rice farms have been affected by the devastation caused by the spillage of the Akosombo and Pond dams. The farms are mostly located in the eastern and Volta regions. The spillage has not only threatened livelihoods, rice farmers, but has also raised concerns about a potential hunger crisis in the affected communities. Some of the affected rice farmers are reportedly taking loans from banks to cultivate. Well, my colleague Shadrach Iswifi joins 3 Business via phone. Now, Shadrach, can you hear me? If you can hear me, tell us where you are and the extent of damage to the rice farms.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm currently at the Suchari, where we have the Farm Rice Irrigation Scheme. And I've been interacting with the Peasant Farmers Association here. And the executive told me they have about over 3,000 hectares of rice farm that has been submerged by the floodwaters. And they have over 3,000 farmers as well, male and female.
Okay.
They're telling me at least they're able to harvest about 60 bags of rice per hectare. Right. And currently a bag of rice is 600 cedis. So you can do the calculation how much these farmers are losing. 60 bags per hectare and over 3,000 hectares are submerged. So that is the situation right now. These farms were at different stages. Some were at the harvesting stage, they had planted the grown and at the harvesting stage. Some had also prepared their lands about to have cultivate, and this flood came. So that's the situation on the ground here at Suchari right now. And since it happened, they are telling me that they've not received any, no one has visited them to tell them what they're supposed to do or what they're going to do for them. And it's a very troubling situation here. Farmers are devastated. They've lost their livelihood. So that's the situation we have here at the Suchari Farm Rice Irrigation Scheme.
Right. But speaking to the farmers, have they been able to put any monetary value to what they have lost?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They've lost about 3,000 hectares of rice farm. Okay, so those that are at the harvesting stage, per hectare, they're able to harvest about 60 bags of rice. Right. And a bag of rice, they are telling me, is 600 cedis. So if you can do the calculation, that's 600 cedis by 60 by 3,000 hectares. That's how much these farmers are losing. And that's their livelihood that is going, or that is gone, let me say.
All right. Thank you very much, Shadrach. That was my colleague, Shadrach Iswifi, who joined us via phone, reporting live from Suchari. That will be all for the business segment on Mayday Live. My name is Minwafo. Stay with us. We have sports news coming up next.
To the bulletin, to the sports segment of the program. Kevin Uswans will bring us the details in sports. Kevin, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Noble Crosby. And well, my name is Kelvin Uswans. On to our first story this afternoon. Former Black Stars midfielder Emmanuel Ajimambedu has called on the fans to exercise patience and provide unwavering support during the national team's rebuilding phase. Ajimambedu, who is an under-20 World Cup winner, emphasized the successful reconstruction of the Black Stars, requiring the inclusion of experienced players who can make an instant impact.
It's very crucial, and to start preparing for the AFCON in January. It's very worrisome, very troublesome where we are heading to, but I'm really optimistic that I think for what have happened these 2 games, the coach has seen what he needs to do, what he needs to react on, and I know the supporters are getting tired of waiting, but we should have patience with them. I'm very optimistic that from next month going, the team will start yelling well and try to do well. And if we can add a bit of experienced players to the team, I think it will help. And then with the youthful ones we have, so that at least we can work from there.
Well, Bedu is a 2015 AFCON finalist. Now, Ryan Bertrand arrived in Ghana on Wednesday, bearing a vision and promise, as well as a beacon of hope for the country's aspiring football stars. The former Chelsea player is here to help unearth more talent for the growth of football. Bertrand was treated to a rousing reception with some Adwa dance at the Kotoka International Airport. Much to his excitement of witnessing it, and joined the dance. Invited by the Ghanaian-owned Copan Sports Agency, Bertrand's visit is more than a fleeting star appearance. Rather, it's an ambitious initiative aimed at nurturing Ghana's football industry.
I'm very interested in establishing sports with a purpose. You know, I'm always open. I love football first and foremost. I love helping people. So if I can combine my passion of helping people with my career, you know, I'm open to, you know, just helping, you know, guide talents, and I'm open for, you know, any questions any young player ever has. If he sees me or anything, don't be afraid to just ask any questions.
President for Copan Sports, Dela Quason, believes the visit is a testament to Bertrand's commitment to using his success as a tool for positive change.
Partnership is going to actually build a lot, help us to identify more talent, and then we would actually get more people onto the global stage. So you are going to get more Ryan Bertrands, you are going to get more Michael Essiens, Amates. He's played with a lot of Ghanaians, so he knows the kind of talent we've got, and then he's eager to help as many as he can.
Copan Sports Agency has in the last 10 years specialized in identifying, marketing, and represented football players on a global scale. Well, moving on to the international scene in Brazil, and Al Hilal forward Neymar will have to undergo surgery after rupturing his anterior cruciate ligament and meniscus in his left knee while on international duty. Now, the 31-year-old was taken off on a stretcher in tears during the 2-0 defeat to Uruguay on Tuesday. He landed awkwardly after a challenge in the first half. Well, to some more news, and Newcastle United have confirmed midfielder Sandro Tonali is being investigated by the Italian Prosecutor's Office and the Italian Football Federation in relation to an alleged illegal betting activity. The 23-year-old was recently withdrawn from Italy's training camp . Well, so very unfortunate one in there, and sorry for the misplacement of the video. So Sandro Tonali will continue to receive the club's full support and waiting for the final verdict on whether he's going to continue to play football. Well, let's finish off with some NBA news. And Steph Curry scored 30 points and hit the game-winning shot in the Warriors' 116-115.
Klay Thompson and Wiggins.
Steph's got it. 8 seconds. The three to win the game. Got it! He hits it with 5.5.
Well, Steph Curry once again dominant. That will be all for sports this afternoon. My name is Kelvin Oswasa. There is more news after this break.
Mission here at TV3 is that the news comes first, and that's the promise of News Central.
With reporters every corner of the country.
Consignment to attend their action.
To production, building lions.
And experts across the subjects that affects you the most.
We stay across the big stories that impact you the most as they break, develop and evolve into major national issues.
With all angles covered across the country and across every subject. I am Kemini Amano.
And I am Eric Mawina Egbeta.
News Central, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
It wasn't always this easy. When I was 26, I got my first chance to perform a surgery.
Can I have a selfie? Thank you so much.
So I was holding the scalpel. My hands were trembling.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I have your autograph, please? Sorry, sir.
Yes, go on.
Well then, as soon as the senior surgeon entered the OT, Yes, Dr. Matur. I'll be there in 30 minutes. It's an important surgery. Rain check?
Sure.
They are in love, but will they be able to adjust?
Eternal Love shows Tuesdays to Fridays at 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Out Multi-Purpose Insecticide Spray and Quell.
Get ready to witness the most dramatic kitchen battle ever. Drama in the kitchen where rivalries simmer, egos sizzle, and only one rival can claim victory. Two rivals, spatulas in hand, egos on the line. It's not just about the food, it's about the drama. Can they put their differences aside to create the most loving meal, or will the heat of the kitchen prove too much to handle? Are you a wife or a husband? Are you a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Can you cook with your partner's ex in a bid to see whose meal tastes better? Or can you compete with your mother-in-law or father-in-law in the kitchen? Then this is the show for you. On Drama in the Kitchen, you get into the kitchen with your partner's ex or in-law and prove that you own his or her taste buds. So much drama and love in one kitchen. Be part of the Drama in the Kitchen experience by sharing your details via WhatsApp on 027-722-2641. Stay tuned for Drama in the Kitchen, coming soon to TV3.
Well, as we edge closer to the weekend, the entertainment segment will be buzzing. Noella Donko has some more entertainment news in this segment. Over to you, Noella.
Thank you so much. Let's get into some entertainment news here on Midday Live. Now, Ghanaian Afropop songstress Adina says her latest single, Happy, is to encourage fans to focus less on life's difficulties, celebrate themselves, and have a good time. To Adina, the song about happiness will surely put fans in a cheerful mood after listening to the lyrics. Happy, the lead single of Adina's upcoming album, Afro Glows, features Fanti rapper Kofi Kinata.
Why are we partying at this time? Is it because it's the end of the year?
I mean, that too, but also because we are all going through what we're going through, and it's necessary to take a breather every once in a while. That's basically all I'm saying, because the problems are not about to stop.
No.
You know, the bills are not about to cease because it's about to be Christmas.
They're getting fatter, actually.
Exactly. So just take time out of all that busy, you know, schedules and have a good time. That's all I'm saying. But also, it's important for the end of the year. People have worked so
party.
What I said, people have worked so hard all year, and this is like the best time to just woo up. It's actually the lead single for my upcoming album, which is called Afroglow. So it's coming out next year.
Right.
But this is like the lead single.
Okay. You keep just growing and growing and moving and moving. What keeps you going?
I think it's the love and passion for music, and obviously being surrounded by like a solid team that will push you no matter what.
Yeah.
I am trying to get chance to cover vacation with the ball. See before.
Share that joy and feel the vibe.
Happy is out, so make sure you do take a listen and, you know, add it to your playlist. Now, ours, after clips of veteran Nollywood actor Mr. Ibu begging for help on a hospital bed went viral, some top Nigerian celebrities have started rallying around funds to fly Mr. Ibu out of the country for better care. In a viral clip, the actor's daughter, Jasmine, noted that they have run out of money, hence the need to make the public appeal. The appeal has reached thousands of fans of the actor, including Peter Okoye of P-Square fame. In a post shared on social media, the member of the music group said, "Our very own Mr. Ibu John Okafor needs our help as he goes through a medical challenge. Our Nollywood legends deserve better. It's time for we, the people, to show him love for bringing joy to our screens all these years. I am pledging my support for him 100%. You can also support him a little way you can. He needs our prayers and financial support in this challenging time. Pray for his speedy recovery. May God heal you permanently, our dear veteran," he said. Don't forget to say a prayer for Mr. Ibu. But that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on Midday Live. My name is Nwela Donko. Up next is international news.
In international news, Gabon's military leader, General Brice Oligui Nguema, has said he's giving up a salary as president and will only receive a wage as commander of the Republican Guard. He became the interim president following the overthrow of President Ali Bongo in August. Wednesday night's announcement was made by the junta spokesperson, who said General Nguema took the decision because he was aware of the social emergencies and many expectations of the Gabonese people. Deposed President Bongo's 14-year rule was marred by allegations of corruption and other financial scandals, with junta saying the country's finances are victim of real criminal fury. Apart from renouncing his salary as president, General Nguema also decided to reduce public spending by slashing the allowances for lawmakers, eliminating political funds and cutting session allowances. The presidency said this would consolidate the state funds. The latest move has been seen as an attempt to restore the Gabonese people's confidence in the country's leadership. That's how we draw the curtains on Midday Live this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby, and stay with us here on TV3 and all the media general platforms. Good afternoon.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.